Hey guys, today I replaced the upper wishbones and the anti-rollbar links on my Alfa 147 and I recorded the whole procedure for you. Except for one important step, and I'll explain that all the way at the end of the video. I started by jacking up the car and putting it up on two sturdy jack stands. I did both the left and the right side to make sure the suspension is loose, and then I removed the front wheel. We use a little bit of WD-40 to soak this bolt and the one down here below at the back. Then we take the long torque wrench with a 17mm socket and we break this one loose here. For the bottom bolt I'm using a normal socket wrench because the head of my torque wrench is too big. Maneuvering myself in a position to put a bit more force on it. And I managed to loosen it by hand. Now, after loosening it for a bit, you'll need to get out some Allen keys. Once broken loose, you'll see this bolt will spin. So what you need to do now is you need to use a ring spanner to further loosen it up. And then you need to use this Allen key to make sure it doesn't turn along with your spanner. So this way you can easily further loosen up the bolt. And get the Allen key in there through the hole in the lower arm. And then position yourself so you can put some force on it. And once it starts to move, it's a bit easier. Bit by bit. About 100 times back instead of turning the wrench. You can also turn the Allen key. It has a lot more free play, goes a lot quicker. I managed to get the link out and now you can see what was causing the knocking. So this ball joint is completely gone. Don't forget to unclip this one here and remove the brake line. Now you need to remove the shock from the lower control arm, so you need to undo this bolt here, which requires a deep socket, and you need to hold the other bolt on the other side. Now if you don't have a deep socket like I do, you can use a 19mm spanner and another 19mm socket. So with this socket I'll break it loose. The other side isn't turning yet, so I don't need my spanner. And now I need to put the spanner on in the right direction, of course. And turn it all the way loose. Loosen the ball, you can carefully tap it out with a hammer. There's two washers on the side where the deep shock socket should go. I'll use some thread rods to hammer it out all the way. Another bit of WD-40 Don't know if it will help. And this one comes out easily. With this tool, a hammer, and a 19mm spanner. So this is used to pull this ball joint. I hammer it in place. This one is fully closed. This one is adjusted that it just fits here. And then I'll use my spanner to slowly open this up. I already need to put some force. Dat is minder. Kaputski. So I repaired my tool by using the rod that I no longer need and putting it in here. And then by applying more and more force, finally it broke loose with a few taps of a hammer on the side whilst I was putting tension on it with my joint breaker tool. Next step is under the hood, because for this to come out we can't move this bolt, so we first need to undo whole of this assembly, so the shock needs to be removed and then this thing can come out. So we're going to check out under the hood now. So we'll loosen these two bolts, that releases the shock, and we'll loosen these two, which releases the assembly. They're not so tight, so you don't need a big breaker bar for this, just a bit of force. Before I undo these, I'm going to undo those so I can tap these out. So it both removed, the shock loose on the bottom. I can hammer the shock down. Now let's hammer the shock down a bit more. It's completely loose. Now we can undo these bolts completely. Shock needs to go a little lower. And now I can lift this over the shock's bolt. This is moving. Here it is. Yeah, I got it out. You put one 70mm socket with a breaker bar on this side, and then I take the large one. It's a other 70mm socket, it's a bit deeper, and then we break it like this. I like to use some ceramic grease to prevent lockup of these bolts. I tighten this one to 44 Newton meters, all of the bolts, and I need to line up the two holes outside of the circle with the bolts on top of the shock. It's where it needs to be. Here I am again with the ceramic grease. Put a bit on bolt. So. And now the inner. Hey guys, job well done, but I forgot a very important step before I started recording. Before you jack up the car, you need to make sure that you measure the height from the floor to the top of the wheel arc. That height in my case was 69.5 centimeters. Why do you need this measurement? Because when later on, at the end of the procedure, you start to tighten the bolt that you need to tighten to 108 Newton meters, the long one that attaches the shock to the lower wishbone, then the suspension needs to be at the same position as the car is normal when it's resting on its wheel. Why is that? Because if you tighten that bolt in another suspension position and later on you lower the car, it will already be under some kind of preload. So the rubbers in that joint will already be twisted, and that will cause them to go bad really fast. So this is an important step. Before you tighten the 108 Newton meters bolt, you need to jack up the car, remove the support, and then lower your jack until you get to 69.5 millimeters. You can fine-tune it by jacking it up little by little again, but that is the real measurement you need, and then you can tighten it to 108 Newton meters.